This is Fast and Factual. Here are top 40 updates from around the world. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day official visit to Japan. Prime Minister Modi received a warm and traditional welcome in Tokyo, where he was greeted with folk songs and the recitation of the Gayatri Mantra. Prime Minister Modi also addressed the 15th India-Japan Joint Economic Forum, where he hailed Tokyo's role as an important partner in New Delhi's development journey. While addressing the summit, the Indian Prime Minister also invited Japanese business leaders to India. After Japan, Prime Minister Modi will head to China to attend the annual SCO summit. Thailand's Constitutional Court has sacked the suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, who had been accused of mishandling a border dispute with Cambodia. The Prime Minister, daughter of former leader Thaksin Shinawatra, was suspended last month following the leak of a phone call with ex-Cambodian leader Hun Sen. Kim Kyon-hee, wife of South Korea's ousted former president Yoon Suk-yeol, was indicted for bribery and other charges in connection with ongoing corruption investigations. Both the former president and the former first lady are currently jailed, with Yoon already on trial for insurrection after a failed attempt to impose martial law last year. Kim issued a statement apologizing for public concerns and pledged to face trial without excuses. A U.S. Senate delegation led by Republican Senator Roger Wicker arrived in Taiwan to reinforce ties with the island amid rising tensions with China. The visit includes meetings with President Lai Ching-te and other officials. While Washington does not recognize Taiwan as a sovereign nation, it remains the island's most important security partner and a key arms supplier. The visit comes as Trump administration pursues a trade deal with Beijing. Protests in Jakarta over lawmakers' pay, education funding and social programs turned violent, leaving one man dead and dozens injured. The police clashed with demonstrators using tear gas and water cannons. Authorities confirmed an armored police vehicle struck and killed a motorcycle driver, though he was not a part of the protest. 7 officers were arrested, and further demonstrations are planned by student groups. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro supervised military exercises in Caracas amid heightened tensions with the United States. The U.S. has deployed 3 warships to the Caribbean, with more expected next week as President Trump pushes for action against drug cartels. Maduro praised troops during the drills, saying that Venezuela had grown stronger despite weeks of U.S. pressure. The UK government said that Israeli officials will not be invited to the upcoming DSEI 2025 arms fair in London, citing worsening relations over the Gaza conflict. Israeli defense firms, however, will be allowed to participate. Israel condemned the move as discrimination. Britain, France and Germany launched a 30-day process to reimpose UN sanctions on Iran over its nuclear program. Tehran denounced the move, accusing the 3 powers of undermining diplomacy. The decision comes 2 months after US and Israeli strikes on nuclear sites in Iran. Afghanistan's Taliban government has accused Pakistan of carrying out airstrikes in Nangarhar and Khost provinces, which killed 3 people and injured 7 others. Kabul summoned Pakistan's ambassador and condemned the strikes as provocative. Islamabad has not commented on the allegations yet. American authorities said that Robin Westman, who opened fire at Minneapolis church school, killing 2 children and injuring at least 17, was quote-unquote obsessed with killing children. The 23-year-old suspect, armed with 3 guns and a smoke bomb, had ties to the church where his mother once worked. Police say he fired dozens of shots through classroom windows. On to climate news now. In India, a cloudburst hit Rudraprayag district in the northern state of Uttarakhand on Thursday night, trapping several families and causing injuries. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami confirmed that debris float blocked areas in Rudraprayag and Chamoli districts. However, rescue teams rushed to the scene to help stranded residents. Meanwhile, heavy rain also lashed New Delhi and NCR on Friday morning, waterlogging roads and delaying at least 146 flights at the Delhi airport. The IMD issued a red alert for Noida, Ghaziabad, warning of extremely heavy rain. And in neighbouring Pakistan, at least 17 people died as floods submerged hundreds of villages in Punjab province on Thursday. The floods were caused by overflowing Satluj, Ravi and Chenab rivers after heavy rains. However, authorities evacuated at least 250,000 people to temporary shelters to stay safe. Meanwhile, the deluge damaged roads, homes and millions of acres of farmland in the province of over 130 million people. Officials said the floods have affected more than 1.2 million people since Wednesday. In the United States, heavy rain soaked parts of Arkansas and Oklahoma on Thursday. In Arkansas, temperatures dropped to 62 degrees Fahrenheit. The National Weather Service warned of possible flash floods in northwest and central Arkansas in the coming days. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma, rain inundated homes. Officials said storms are expected to move eastward on Friday. In Central America, a coastal village in Honduras lost land to the sea after years of coastline erosion. The environment group confirmed the damage on Friday. High tides and stronger storms linked to climate change destroyed at least 50 homes and a school and other local infrastructure. Meanwhile, fishermen said rough seas left them without work or tourism income. Community leaders warned that at least 17,000 families along the coast were at risk. And Indonesia announced a plan to build a giant seawall along Java's coast. The project, worth at least $80 billion, aims to stop flooding caused by rising seas and sinking land. However, experts warn the wall could damage ecosystems and push erosion elsewhere. Meanwhile, residents said they need quick relief as homes, roads and even villages have already been lost to the ocean. The government inaugurated a new agency to oversee the project earlier this week. On to business and tech news now. Asian markets edged higher earlier today, riding a tech-driven rally on the Wall Street. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan rose 0.4%, though European and US stocks futures slipped. Investors were waiting for a key US inflation reading to gauge the Federal Reserve's rate outlook. The US economy grew faster than initially thought in the second quarter, in part driven by business investment in intellectual property such as artificial intelligence. GDP increased at a 3.3% annualized rate compared to the 3.2% first reported, with equipment spending also revised up to 7.4%. The United States ended its tariff exemption for package shipments under $800 today, with Customs and Border Protection starting to collect duties on all global parcel imports. The move expanded the Trump administration's earlier ban on China and Hong Kong shipments, as officials said it would boost tariff revenues and curb flows of fentanyl precursors. Analysts said the change was raising costs for e-commerce firms and small businesses, while some foreign postal agencies were suspending mail to the United States amid the transition. And Caterpillar raised its estimate of tariff-related costs for this year to between $1.5 and $1.8 billion, up from a prior forecast of up to $1.5 billion. This came as sweeping tariffs were raising costs across Caterpillar's supply chain, as the company was importing key components such as sensors, even as manufacturers were racing to localize production. Nike said it was planning to cut less than 1% of its corporate workforce as part of its turnaround strategy under Chief Executive Elliott Hill. This came as the company was investing in running shoes and sneaker lines while rekindling relationships with retailers and expanding its physical store presence to fight competition. However, the exact number of jobs impacted remained unclear. In quarterly earnings report, Dollar General raised its annual expectations for salient profit as same-day delivery partnerships and store remodels were helping to drive demand from value-seeking consumers. Executives, however, said pressure on consumers was expected to weigh up in the coming quarter. as the US retailer continued to face cost increases from Donald Trump's import tariffs. Intel's finance chief said the company received $5.7 billion in cash on Wednesday night as part of the deal that the US President Donald Trump negotiated for a 10% stake in the struggling chip maker. However, the White House press secretary earlier said that the deal between Intel and the US was still being ironed out by the Department of Commerce. And Apple said the UK's planned competition rules were threatening user privacy as the company was warning that developers could be forced to share free technology. The iPhone maker claimed that the proposed measures were mirroring the European Union's approach, which had already led to major changes in the App Store policies. Apple stressed that the Competition and Markets Authority was risking security and consumer protection while pushing to limit the firm's control over app distribution and payments. Elon Musk's AI startup xAI has launched a new coding model marking its entry into a growing segment of the industry. The model, called Grok Code Fast 1, is described as speedy and cost-efficient and will be available free for a limited time with select launch partners including GitHub Copilot and Windsurf. xAI said the model is designed to handle common coding tasks quickly and economically, making it a versatile tool for developers. NBC Universal struck a redistribution deal with Amazon to bring its Peacock Premium Plus service to Prime Video channels. The agreement was expanding access to NBC sports, films and television programs through Amazon's platform. The company said the service was being made available to Prime customers in the United States. And moving to sports, we begin with tennis. We bring you the latest from the US Open. Women's world number 3 Coco Gauff advanced to the third round. The Roland Garros champion beat Donna Vekic of Croatia in straight sets. The 21-year-old said the presence of legendary American gymnast Simone Biles among the spectators inspired her to push herself to win the match. World number 2 Iga Świątek also entered the third round of the US Open. The recently crowned Wimbledon champion beat Dutch woman Susan Lamens. Świątek looked to be cruising as she led by a set, but she stumbled in the second set before making a comeback in the third to win the match 6-1, 4-6, 6-4. Former world number 1 Naomi Osaka entered the third round of the US Open with The Japanese star beat the world number 47 Hailey Baptiste 6-3, 6-1. Osaka has not won the third round of a majors since winning the last of her 4 Grand Slams at the 2021 Australian Open. Men's world number 1 Yannick Sinner charged into the third round of the US Open. Sinner beat Australia's Alexei Popyrin 6-3, 6-2, 6-2. With this, the Wimbledon champion stretched his Grand Slam winning streak on hard courts to 23 matches. The Italian has reached the final of all 3 Grand Slams this season, winning the Australian Open and Wimbledon and losing the French Open to Carlos Alcaraz. And Hong Kong's Coleman Wong continues his dream run at the US Open. The world number 173 beat Australia's Adam Walton 7-6, 6-2, 4-6, 6-4. Wong had already made history earlier in the week by becoming the first man from Hong Kong to win a Grand Slam singles match. In badminton, we bring you the latest from the World Championship. Star Indian shuttler PV Sindhu stormed into the quarterfinals. The 2-time Olympic medalist recorded a sensational win over the world number 2 Wang Jie of China in the round of 16. The 2019 world champion stamped her authority early on with a win in the first game. The 30-year-old wrapped the match with a 21-19, 21-15 victory in just 48 minutes. Sindhu is now just 1 win away from a record 6th world medal. Good news for the Indian contingent in the mixed doubles as well. India's Dhruv Kapila and Tanisha Crusto stunned their 5th seed opponents from Hong Kong in the round of 16. The Indian pair battled past their rivals 19-21, 21-12, 21-15 in a hard-fought win. Dhruv and Tanisha took an intense hour and 3 minutes in the match to book their place in the quarterfinals. And India's top men's doubles pair Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty entered the world's quarterfinals to wrap up a dream day for Indian shuttlers in Paris. The Indians edged past 6 seeds from China 19-21, 21-15, 21-17 in a battle that lasted an hour and 8 minutes. In javelin throw, Tokyo Olympics champion Neeraj Chopra secured a runners-up finish in the Diamond League finals. The double Olympic medalist was third till the 5th round of the competition. But this final effort of 85.01 meters took him to the runners-up finish. Germany's Julian Weber wins the title with a winning throw of 91.51 meters. And in football, in a major change of schedules, the finals of this season's Champions League in Budapest will kick off at 6 p.m. local time rather than 9 p.m. European football governing bodies said that an earlier kick-off makes the day more feasible, reduces travel stress and allows fans to enjoy without worrying about late-night logistics. Unlike the Europa League and Conference League finals, which are played in midweek, the Champions League showpiece has been held on Saturdays since 2010. And finally, in entertainment news, Kim Kardashian, honored at an award ceremony in Venice for her work on prison reform, used the platform to speak against President Trump's immigration policies. Kardashian expressed concern that hard-working immigrants who helped build the U.S. were being unfairly targeted by ICE raids. She urged greater protection for those communities while accepting an award from Chris Young, a man she previously held free from a life sentence. Actor George Clooney has been forced to withdraw from events at the Venice Film Festival due to a sinus infection, his representative confirmed. The 64-year-old missed press duties for the film Jake Kelly and skipped a high-profile dinner with co-stars Laura Dern and Adam Sandler. Clooney was reportedly seen leaving his hotel by water taxi to rest under doctor's orders. Lady Gaga confirmed that her new single, The Dead Dance, will be released on September 3rd. The track will feature in the second season of Netflix's Tim Burton-led series Wednesday. Speculation about the project grew after Gaga was spotted filming in Mexico. The singer announced the release date during Spotify and Netflix's Wednesday Graveyard Gala in New York, where she appeared alongside series star Jenna Ortega. And Ariana Grande has unveiled dates for her 2026 Eternal Sunshine World Tour in support of her 2024 album of the same name. The tour will open on June 6th in Oakland, California, and include stops in Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago and Montreal before concluding with a 5-night residency at London's O2 Arena in August. And Marlon Barrett, one of the original cast members of Chicago Med, will not return for season 11. Barrett, who has portrayed charge nurse Maggie Lockwood since the show's 2015 debut, is stepping back for personal reasons. It remains unclear whether she will rejoin later in the season. The announcement follows news of a guest appearance by Nick Gelfas in the upcoming season.